Itauma's biggest test so far, he's won all 12. He won every amateur fight, 10 stoppages so far in the pro ranks. He's blowing everyone away. What I love about him, guys, is the fact that all the other heavyweights talk so highly of him.
Narrative that he is this devastating puncher and that he can go in there and dispatch people. You know, he's making a massive step up against Dillian, and if he does get rid of Dillian, you know, within 2, 3, 4 rounds, we've got some serious things to stop.
Future of the heavyweight division, right there. That boy is so equipped. He's got so many skills, so many assets. He's unbelievable. The only thing that I worry about with Moses is the size. But ultimately, as we've seen now, size becomes a...
Moses is a phenomenal talent. He's very different. I've only met him a couple of times, but he's a very interesting guy. Very, very relaxed, calm, very sure, without being cocky, and that's what you like in fighters. But very talented, very balanced.
You know what I mean? The kid is young, he's athletic, you know what I mean? He can fight, so he's knocked everybody out. So what am I going to study on? I mean, let's be real. It's not like he's been in a fight where he's had like 8 grueling rounds where he had to get pushed to the limit. You know, someone you can sit and watch and be like, okay, I can learn from this. But he's fighting guys that he's knocking out. Boom, boom, boom.
This isn't going to be a chess match. It's going to be a showcase. Moses Itauma's speed, power, and relentless pressure are operating on a completely different level from what a faded Dillian Whyte can handle. The experts aren't hedging their bets here. They're almost unanimous.
He's the biggest.
He's a problem for the heavyweight division, isn't he?
He's the future.
He's coming.
He's the future.
Yeah.
He is the future, that boy. I always thought it might be his size that holds him back, but he's good enough. Alexander Usyk's shown size isn't as much.
In predicting that this fight won't be remotely close, and frankly, they're right. Frank Warren isn't sugarcoating the situation either. He's clear. Dillian Whyte is being caught on the way down, while Moses Itauma is flying upward at full speed. That's the cold reality. Sure, Dillian might convince himself that he can drag the fight into the later rounds and grind the younger man down, but this isn't
jump because, you know, Dillian's not an idiot, isn't he? He fancies to fight. This is a big jump for him. He's done everything up to now that's been asked of him, but there's that question mark about what happens if he goes into the later rounds. I mean, he has gone the distance once, but I'm talking about with somebody who doesn't fiddle around, somebody who actually would like to get him left.
The old Whyte who could outlast and overwhelm opponents in the trenches. If Moses finds his rhythm early, Whyte won't even get the chance to see those so-called deep waters. He'll already be drowning in a storm of stiff jabs, punishing body shots, and power punches upstairs. Tyson Fury sees the intrigue, though. In his eyes, the clash is
It's going to be interesting to see how much that Dillian Whyte has left. And could this be potential? I think it does have the potential to do what Martin McCauley did to Jared Anderson. Maybe it's too early, or maybe he passes with flying colours. And that's why you got to watch it and find out. But one thing I will say about Moses is he's a very good fighter, good little boxer, good puncher, and a lovely kid as well. It's like a sponge.
As much about contrast as competition. Dillian's experience and toughness against Moses' youth, hunger, and momentum. But Fury also points out the key question. How much does Whyte really have left in the tank after so much time away? As Tyson himself puts it, it's a good fight for Moses. A very good time to fight Dillian. He's had a couple of years out of the ring. Translation: this is perfect timing for a statement win. Johnny Nelson takes...
Until that new star establishes himself, so we'll just wait and see, but it's exciting.
What do you make of Itauma versus Dillian Whyte?
It's a good fight. Dillian likes to fight. He'll have a tear up. Yeah. You know, you can't test this man for runners. You know, he'll fight anybody and everybody. So with Dillian doing that, you think, you know what? You know, it's a good fight, good testing fight, and like he might be a gatekeeper.
Takes it further. For him, this is more than just a fight. It's a battle for pride and position. Nelson calls it straight. Whyte is still dangerous, but he's slipping toward gatekeeper territory, and that's bad news when the man banging on the gate is Moses Itauma. Whyte's grit and toughness haven't vanished, but grit alone won't stop a young, fast, ruthless heavyweight on the rise. Moses isn't planning to politely knock on that gate. He's coming to blow it off its hinges. When Derek Chisora, a man who's gone toe-to-toe with every elite heavyweight of his era, warns you off a fight, you should probably listen. His words aren't for hype, they're born from experience. Chisora has seen that spark in Moses Itauma, and he recognizes the trajectory. fast, ruthless, and
You know, I even phoned Dylan. I was like, Dylan, I don't know why you're taking this fight, you know, because this kid is on fire right now. And he's getting better and better. It's not like he's going backwards, he's going forward. Moses is on fire, so we're just going to decide who's going to go to prison when Dylan gets back.
Proving with every outing. Calling Moses on fire isn't just a casual phrase here. It's a reflection of his momentum, confidence, and form. Whyte, in contrast, has been idle. He's carrying the wear and tear of years of grueling battles against big punchers. Chisora's prison joke about the fight hits differently when you think about what he's implying, that stepping in with Moses now isn't bravery, it's recklessness. If Whyte ignores those warnings, he may end up walking into a one-sided beating that leaves lasting damage. Eddie Hearn, who's seen countless prospects come and go, also heaps praise on Moses. Hearn isn't one to casually throw out superlatives, so when he calls Itauma an exceptional talent twice in the same breath, it's significant. He's seen hundreds of decorated amateurs, but very few who've made the pro transition with Moses's combination of composure, skill set, and discipline.
I think if they keep winning, yeah. I mean, look, Moses is an exceptional talent. You know, he's been in the game a long time. He's got a very, long-standing amateur record and pedigree.
That's why Hearn sees him as one for the future and possibly the present. Moses' rise isn't built on hype alone. His pedigree is undeniable, honed by years of high-level amateur competition and an almost obsessive commitment to improvement. Stack that against Whyte's recent inactivity and inconsistent performances, and the gap in sharpness becomes glaring. Hearn knows timing is everything in boxing, and right now, the stars are aligning perfectly for Moses. If he delivers on fight night, this could be the breakout performance that propels him from promising prospect to legitimate contender overnight. Whyte's Godzilla joke, comparing Moses to a monster, might have been meant to ease the pressure, but there's truth in the humor. Comparing your opponent to a cinematic
fighting Godzilla.
So what are you then if he's Godzilla?
I don't know. Just there's smart people in the Japanese movie that runs around and Godzilla is trampling Tokyo town.
The civilians.
I'm one of them, yeah.
So you are a
city destroyer isn't exactly the bravado fans expect from a veteran. It sounds almost like an unintentional admission of the threat he's facing. In boxing, fighters often mask doubts with jokes, but strip away the banter and the truth remains. Whyte is up against a young powerhouse with no fear and everything to gain. If he's already picturing Moses as an unstoppable force stomping through Tokyo, then deep down he might already realize the scale of the challenge ahead. That's not the healthiest mindset to carry into a fight. One of the few lingering questions about Moses Itauma is his endurance over a long haul. It's true, he hasn't been pushed past 2 rounds in his last 8 fights, but that's not because of stamina issues. It's because his opponents simply haven't been able to survive that long. The idea of testing his
boxing, I was like, you've not gone past 2 rounds in your last 8 fights. So you've just been 1 round or 2 rounds. So is the gas tank still there? Moses is known for his speed and his footwork. How does that look at round 6 or 7? Like when you've landed on someone and they've not fallen over or bowled over, what does that look like now? And there are levels in boxing. Like even at world level, there are like several levels within world.
Gas tank is valid in theory, but the bigger question is whether Whyte can survive the early onslaught to even find out. Moses' speed, footwork, and rhythm don't magically disappear after 3 rounds. They're ingrained in his style. Combine that with youth, elite conditioning, and disciplined preparation, and he's more than capable of carrying his pace late if necessary. Ironically, if Whyte tries to drag Moses into deep waters, he might be the one drowning first. The stamina question could get answered long before round 3 even begins. Chisora doesn't just predict a Moses win. He sees Whyte's chances as about as slim as hitting the lottery, and coming from someone who's fought world champions and heavy hitters for years, that's not casual trash talk. Chisora understands the danger of facing a young, hungry fighter with elite coaching. At just 24 years old, Moses has the edge.
Boxing a guy who's 24 years old, who's got always faculties right, getting trained by one of the best trainers in the United Kingdom, and then mate, it's like you got more chance of winning the lottery than you beating that Moses Itauma. Let's be honest.
Speed, reflexes, hunger, and freshness. YT, meanwhile, is coming off inactivity, injuries, and the accumulated wear of a long career. In Chisora's eyes, that's not a recipe for an upset. It's a mismatch in probability. In boxing, when the gap in form, fitness, and motivation is this wide, experience alone isn't enough to bridge it. Unless YT delivers some miraculous performance, Moses is likely to dominate from the opening bell. Dave Allen adds his own perspective. While he acknowledges YT's punching power and experience, he still leans toward Moses for one simple reason: inactivity kills sharpness. In heavyweight boxing, timing is everything. Moses, in contrast, is active, laser-focused, and improving with every fight. YT's experience is valuable, but it's tied to years of accumulated damage. Miles on the legs, reflexes, dulled, body worn from wars. Allen's no result would surprise me. Comment is more.
As I'm boxing forever, Dillian Whyte's not been active at Itauma, so I'm making Itauma my favourite base on that, but Dillian Whyte's experience, he can punch. No result would surprise me, but I would go with an Itauma.
More a nod to heavyweight unpredictability than any deep belief in YT's chances. At crossroads fights like this, the younger, fresher, sharper fighter usually wins, and Moses ticks all those boxes. The only real surprise here would be if YT could withstand Moses's early aggression long enough to land something decisive. Allen clearly doubts it, and he's not alone. Anthony Joshua's words carry a different kind of weight. He's shared the ring with Moses, felt his timing, seen his movement up close. For AJ to give Moses the edge isn't just polite hype, it's a direct endorsement from a former world champion who knows exactly what it takes to win at the elite level. Joshua highlights Moses's great team, because in boxing,
team around him, honestly, and you're only as good as your team, but I think he's got a really good team around him after being in the ring with him and studying him, still studying him now. I think that he's the one to edge it.
the right corner can turn a talented fighter into an elite one. The fact that AJ is still studying Moses' style tells you he sees him as a genuine threat, not just to YT, but to the heavyweight division at large. Sparring with Joshua would have pushed Moses in ways fans haven't yet seen publicly, and if after that, AJ is still backing the young gun, it says everything. It's one thing to hype a prospect for the cameras. It's another when a proven champion says, "This guy's got it." Ben Davison cuts straight to the heart of the matter. No other heavyweight would be expected to blast through a veteran like YT in 2 or 3 rounds, but people genuinely believe Moses can. That alone speaks volumes about the aura surrounding him right now. In the heavyweight division, quick demolitions are usually reserved for gross mismatches.
A lot of the time, a lot of the general public, the expectation's almost like it's a 2 or 3 round job for Moses. And my opinion is if there was any other heavyweight in the world boxing Dillian Whyte, they wouldn't say it's a 2 or 3 round job. So I think that just tells you how highly people think of.
Yet here, against an experienced contender, fans and pundits are openly predicting it. For YT, that's a nightmare before the first punch is even thrown. The world isn't just picking against him, they're predicting an early humiliation, and in boxing, that kind of psychological pressure can be suffocating. Davison's point isn't just praise for Moses, it's a warning. This isn't hype anymore, it's expectation. When the bell rings, it's more than Moses Itauma versus Dillian Whyte. It's a collision between a surging force and a fading warrior. For Moses, a win here isn't just another line on his record, it's his gateway to the global stage, the fight that announces him as a serious threat to every top heavyweight. For YT, it's about survival, a chance to prove that ring rust, wear and tear, and public doubt haven't stripped him of his bite. If he wins, he rewrites the final chapter of his career in bold, defiant ink. But mentally, Moses looks hungrier. Physically, he's fresher. Stylistically, he's the nightmare YT didn't need. The question now is simple. Is this the coronation of a new king, or one last roar from the old guard?